All right, continuing things here on the Elias Macko Show. Have you done your taxes? have you done your taxes yet? Or are you looking at the calendar saying, "Oh, geez, I really got to get on that"? It is tax filing season, and for many, because we so don't want to do it ourselves, for many that means a costly trip to the accountant or hours spent figuring out how to do it yourselves. And you know what? It's intimidating. I would say that's the biggest problem with taxes. It's intimidating. So let's talk about dealing with that intimidation, getting you some answers. That could all that intimidation, all of the stuff that makes filing taxes difficult, it could all change thanks to one developer who's launched a new website. It's a free artificial intelligence-powered chatbot. The aim to help Canadians file their own taxes. The service uses artificial intelligence to guide you through the tasks, to do your taxes, and to answer your questions. We head over to Paul Craig now, an Ottawa developer who's launched this new website. It is called taxgpt.ca. Paul, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me.
Tell me about the things in your toolkit, the things on your resume that have allowed you to combine all of that into this website, TaxGPT. What's your background here?
I've been a public servant for a while. I'm on leave now, so for anyone concerned, don't worry, it's all in personal time. I've worked on this, but I did a project in the past where we looked at the subject. It's been in the news again recently, but CRA helping to file taxes automatically for low-income tax filers. And as part of that, we went to the Community Volunteer Income Tax Program. We went to a clinic. We did research to see who comes in, what goes on in them, and what we saw was, so it's for people with simple tax scenarios, and their incomes are below $35,000. If you have no dependents, it goes up a bit if you do. It's for people who are in that lower income bracket. They can come in and volunteers will file your taxes for free. So you don't pay anything. They'll help you out. And I think the thing that I really noticed was people would come in with very low confidence and really unsure about taxes. And they'd sit across from somebody, they'd bring in their T4, and 10 minutes later, they're out. Their taxes are filed for the year. They didn't pay anything, and they're thrilled. So it's a great service, and I was wondering, is there a way that we could provide a version of that online, so you don't have to go somewhere, and also to for anybody, not just for people who qualify.
Yeah, and that's the thing I wanted to get to as well, Paul, is like who is this for? And I think so many people, they could actually do their taxes, but they're so deathly afraid of making a mistake that will lead CRA investigators to break down the door. Oh my God, you're evading taxes, and you're just worried. And I always find it odd. I've done my taxes, with an accountant forever, and I remember one year we forgot to put in one of those slips, one of those forms, right? And what happened immediately? When we got the assessment, they're like, "Hey, we've corrected your assessment. You forgot this," and they did it, right? And I say to myself, it's more of the intimidation factor than anything. So tell me about taxgpt.ca and how it works, and for an average Canadian, what kind of answers you'll provide.
So there's really two. So you come in, it says hello. You can open the chatbot, and then there's two paths through it. So the first path is for very unfamiliar or potentially very low confident, maybe first-time filers, but it will recommend a free way for you to file your taxes. So it'll ask you, so it doesn't ask for personal information, so it can't be used to identify you later, but it will ask what province you're from and try to essentially determine if you have a complex or simple tax filing scenario and where your income bracket is. And then it will recommend the clinics if you can use those, or free tax filing, or it might say, hey, you're maybe in a complex scenario, maybe it is worth getting some help. Mm-hmm. So that's the first route in. The other one is more experimental. It's more, there's a caveat there about try it out, see if it works for you, but make sure you check it. But it is the AI-powered part where you can ask questions about it's sort of like a easy thing you can do from home. Like you can ask questions about tax filing in Canada, things you might have questions about. And I was really thinking back to, people don't know where to start. A lot of the information on the CRA website is very accurate, but it's can be hard to interpret sometimes if you're not a professional. And so this is a sort of simple interface on top of very technical information. I think it's a good way to get started.
So how did you build it? Like when it's such a buzzword now, buzzwords, artificial intelligence or AI. So how did you integrate artificial intelligence, this chat program, and how did you even build the thing?
So for anyone in Ottawa, if you ever go to the NAC on the weekend, you can kind of sit there. It's a public space. They have a nice cafe, but I was sitting there for a few weekends in a row, and I was really thinking about the thing. If anyone has tried AI, I don't know, but you get this back and forth. It feels like you're talking with another person, and I was really the thing I was trying to replicate was what you see in these tax clinics is someone comes in again very confused, not sure where to start. And the thing is, they don't understand taxes, but they do understand what's going on in their own life. So volunteers will ask them questions like, do you live at home? Do you pay rent? Do you have dependents? Do you get a T4? Like things people do know how to answer. And by the end of that, the volunteer has what they need to file. So I was thinking like, okay, if we can kind of replicate this back and forth, this conversational exchange, it's a bit more of a lower lowering the bar, right, to entry in a sense. So it's kind of an on-ramp to learning. So I was testing that theory, and eventually I came to the conclusion that it's really, really bad about knowing if you come in and you're like, hey, I made $53,000 this year. I live in Ontario. What are my taxes going to look like? Doesn't know the answer. But if you come in and you're like, I'm a freelancer, what are some things I can write off, right? How can I do, what are some deductions I can do? Or if you say, what does the Canada dental benefit look like? It's pretty good at those answers. So it can give you sort of a place to start for sort of general information, right? And and that seems what people have been using it for. And so I've tried to train it to not answer questions about exact incomes, but just to be this thing where people can sort of ask like, what is a benefit for X, or like, how do I do Y? And it usually gives pretty good answers.
We're with Paul Craig, an Ottawa developer, has just launched taxgpt.ca using AI to help you do taxes. Paul, how do you ensure that the information is accurate? I went to ChatGPT the other day, and I did, the thing that a lot of people do at one point with ChatGPT. I asked it, write a bio for myself, right? And it came back with my wrong birthday, like completely off on the birthday, was completely off. Wrong university I went to, wrong job. Everything was wrong. So how do you ensure accuracy with your chatbot?
Yeah, it's a tricky question. I think that I was testing myself. I was asking friends, and now that people are using it, I've been doing spot checking. I would say it's in the 90s, 95-ish in my sort of spot checks. Like I'll look at 100 answers, 50 answers, see. So it's important to say I don't capture personal information, but I can see how the service is doing. So I can see what questions come in. I can see the answers they're getting. I think what's important is to set the expectation up front. So when you use the question, it does say, try not to enter your income, right? Don't enter personal information. Don't enter. Try not to come up with like a complex scenario. It is really good at, as I said, general kind of introductory information, and usually says for more information, visit the CRA website. So what I would say is most answers are good. I can't eliminate all bad answers, but I think setting the expectation up front of you can try it out, you can ask questions, it's free to use, and whatever you get, it should help you on your way. And then definitely do not get an answer and then not check any other resource. But most I would say in the high night, like it's very, a lot of people are interested, a lot of people are asking questions, and the vast majority of these questions are accurate, simple, and relevant. So,
Paul,
I think on balance it's pretty good.
I'm on the website right now, and everyone should just go check it out for themselves here. It is taxgpt.ca. GPT, and that's George Peter Thomas for those who want to make sure they're getting the letters right. taxgpt.ca, and I've just entered, as you were talking there, Paul, I just entered my first question and actually got a really helpful answer. So thanks so much, Paul. I hope it's a success.
I'm curious what you asked. If I can ask.
You know what I asked? I asked it, should I be filing my own taxes?
Yeah.
And it went through the situations as to, who should be really filing their own taxes here. And I'm sort of saying to myself, maybe I shouldn't be using an accountant, but I don't know. Maybe my thing's too simple here. Paul, thanks so much. Be well.
Thanks for getting in touch, and you too.
That's Paul Craig, the Ottawa developer behind taxgpt.ca.